In today's story, we're reading Little Red Riding Hood by Storyberries. A trusting little girl meets a scheming wolf on her way to her grandma's house. Once upon a time, there lived on the borders of a great forest a woodman and his wife who had one little daughter, a sweet, kind child whom everyone loved. She was the joy of her mother's heart, and to please her, the good woman made her a little scarlet cloak and hood. And the child looked so pretty in it that everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother told her she meant to send her to her grandmother, a very old woman who lived in the heart of the wood, to take her some fresh butter and new-laid eggs and a nice cake. Little Red Riding Hood was very pleased to be sent on this errand, for she liked to do kind things, and it's been very long since she's seen her grandmother that she almost forgot what the dame looked like. The sun was shining brightly, but it was not too warm under the shade of the old trees, and Red Riding Hood sang with glee as she gathered a bunch of wildflowers to give to her grandmother. She sang so sweetly that a cushat dove flew down from a tree and followed her. Now, then it happened. A wolf, a very cruel, greedy creature, heard her song also and longed to eat her for his breakfast. But he knew Hugh, the woodman, who was at work very near with his great dog, and he feared that he might hear Red Riding Hood cry out if he frightened her, and then they would kill him, so came up to her very gently and said,
"Good day, Little Red Riding Hood. Where are you going?"
"To see my grandmother," said the child, "and to take her a present from mother of eggs, butter, and cake."
"Where does your grandmother live?"
asked the wolf. "Quite in the middle of the woods," she replied.
"Oh, I think I know the house. Good day, Red Riding Hood."
And the wolf ran off as fast as he could. Little Red Riding Hood was not in a hurry, and there were many things to amuse her in the woods. She ran after the white and yellow butterflies that danced before her, and sometimes she caught one, but she always let it go again, for she never liked to hurt any creature. And then there were the merry, cunning little squirrels to watch, cracking nuts on the branches of the old trees. And every now and then a rabbit would hurry through the tall ferns, or a great bee comes buzzing near her, and she would stop to watch it gathering honey from flowers and wild thyme. So she went on very slowly. By and by she saw Hugh the woodman. "Where you going, Little Red Riding Hood?" he said. "All alone?" "I'm going to my grandmamma's," said the child. "Good day, I must make haste now, for it grows late." While Little Red Riding Hood was at play in the woods, the great wolf galloped on as fast as he could to the old woman's house. Grandmother lived all by herself, but once or twice a neighbor's child came to tidy her house and get her food. Grandmother was very feeble and often kept to her bed, and it happened that she was in bed the day Little Red Riding Hood went to see her. When the wolf reached the cottage door, he tapped.
"Who is there?"
asked the old dame.
"Little Red Riding Hood, Granny,"
said the wolf, trying to speak like the child.
"Come in, my dear.
Said the old lady, who was a little deaf.
Pull the string and let you come up."
The wolf did as she told him, went in, and you may think how frightened poor Grandma was when she saw him standing by her bed instead of Little Red Riding Hood. Very soon the wolf, who was quite hungry after his run, ate up poor Grandma. Indeed, she was not enough for his breakfast, and so he thought he would like to eat sweet Red Riding Hood also. Therefore he dressed himself in Granny's nightcap and got into bed, and waited for the child to knock on the door, but he waited a very long time. By and by, Red Riding Hood reached her grandmother's house and tapped at the door.
"Come in,"
said the wolf in a squeaking voice.
"Pull the string and the latch will come up."
Red Riding Hood thought her grandma must have a cold. She spoke so harshly, but she went in at once, and there laid her granny, as she thought, in bed. "If you please, Grandmama, Mama sends you some butter and eggs," she said.
"Come here, my dear,"
said the wicked wolf,
"and let me kiss you."
and Red Riding Hood obeyed. But when Red Riding Hood saw the wolf, she felt frightened. She nearly forgot her grandma, but she didn't think she'd been so ugly. "Grandmama," she said, "what a great nose you have."
"All the better to smell with, my dear,"
said the wolf. "And Grandmama, what large ears you have."
"All the better to hear with, my dear."
And Grandmama, and what large eyes you have."
"All the better to see with, my dear."
said the wolf, showing his teeth, for he longed to eat the child up. Oh, and Grandmama, and what great teeth you have, said Red Riding Hood.
What a better to eat you up with.
Growled the wolf, and jumping out of his bed, he rushed at Red Riding Hood and would have eaten it up, but just at the minute the door flew open and the great dog tore him down. The wolf and the dog were still fighting when Hugh, the woodman, came in and killed the wicked wolf with his axe. Little Red Riding Hood threw her arms around Woodman Hugh's neck and kissed him, and thanked him again and again. "Oh, you good Hugh," she said. "How do you know the wolf was here in time to save me?" "Well," said Hugh, "when you were gone by, I remember that a wolf had been seen about the woods lately, and I thought I could just come after you and see if you were safe. When we came near Grandma's house, my dog Trim sniffed and ran to the door and whined, and then he pushed it open, and you have not shut it closed, and rushed in. I followed him, and between us we killed the wolf." Then Hugh took the child home, and her mother and father could not thank him enough for saving Little Red Riding Hood. The end.